Hey, what's up guys, it's Theyo from Fino Concepts, and this is the review of the Meike 85mm f1.8 lens for mirrorless cameras. The one I have here is for Nikon Z cameras, but there are other ones for the Sony and Fujifilm. Now, as photographers, the 85mm focal length is one to consider, but should you consider this exact one, which is less than $200? Well, let's find out then. I got my package from AliExpress and they really made sure it got here safely. Inside the box is the lens itself, an instruction manual, some more user manual, and that is it. Gladly, the lens comes with a lens hood straight out of the box. It isn't the best lens hood on the market because it's all plastic and looks and feel like plastic. And even though it's super cheap, given the price of the lens, I can't really complain that much over here. The plastic lens hood is also reversible, so that is pretty neat. As always, first things first, let's talk about the build quality. The Meike 85mm f1.8 lens features a questionable build with some arguably tough plastic construction. It feels steady in the hands and is well designed, with smooth and precise focusing and aperture rings. The lens has a good weight to it at 386 grams for the body only. This feature provides a striking balance between being substantial enough for stability and comfortable for handheld shooting. On the sides are the auto and manual switch. Included in a metallic mount is a micro USB port, which also allows you to connect the lens to your computer in case of any firmware update. Speaking of such, this is how it looks when you connect to your computer. You see two files. One is a README HTML file and the other is a text document with a current firmware version of the lens as its name. When you open up the README file, you get some information on how to upgrade the lens firmware via their website. Unfortunately, the only firmware update for this particular type of lens was only available for Sony cameras. Even if there was an update, I probably may not have updated it because it works just fine for me. I wouldn't want to update it, then later on get issues with focusing and the likes. Up front is a massive glass which features a 67mm in diameter for mounting lens hood, UV and ND filters. The mounting ring is full metal, so no durability issues here. With that mentioned, I should say that the lens has no weather sealing, so be mindful when using it around the natural elements. A few splashes here and there shouldn't and wouldn't be an issue. I say this because I personally shot an exclusive section during a traditional wedding whilst there was a downpour. It wasn't a heavy rain, but it was enough to get wet in it. Note that this lens comes in two forms. One is the regular Meike lens that you probably may have been seeing floating around on the internet. But this new and updated autofocus version mounts directly to your mirrorless cameras without the need of any adapters. So for Sony mirrorless and Nikon Z cameras, this is the one to go for. A couple of reviews on the internet complained that using the older versions with adapters were giving them a lot of issues. You may have also noticed that there's this hollow area within the lens before you reach the glass on the back. My guess is Meike probably just extended the old lens system to fix well on new mirrorless cameras. So similar body, but extended for mirrorless cameras. Compared to the regular Nikon 85mm f1.8 f-mount lens, this is how they both stack up. Notice how the Meike lens extends at the rear end. The focusing ring turns infinitely and smoothly in manual focus. There isn't too much resistance that will make it too stiff to turn, but there's just enough to make manual focusing satisfying. On the subject of focusing, this autofocus lens focuses smoothly and with little to no noise. Fun fact, it sounds quieter than Nikon's own Nikon 85mm f1.8 lens. Well, here's a test for you. Have a listen. And finally, the Nikon 85mm f1.8 lens. The lens is easy to carry and its images are sharp and clear at most apertures. The lens comes with 9 aperture blades and the aperture ranges from f1.8 to f22. And with a minimum focusing distance of 0.85 meters, you can't really get too close to your subject to photograph them. This isn't really an issue for me because I got myself an 85mm lens just so I can stand further back and still get my shots. But sometimes, just sometimes, you want to get close-up shots of probably the wedding ring or the jewelry, but you can't do that with this particular lens. And if close-up shots is something you are into, I'll probably recommend that you get a much wider lens because you can get very close with these wide lenses, like the 35mm f1.8 Tamron lens that I use in shooting my YouTube videos. In terms of image quality, the Meike 85mm f1.8 lens delivers excellent results. Well, almost. When opened wide at f1.8, it produces a pleasing shadow depth of field and beautiful background blur, allowing for subject isolation and creating a pleasing bokeh effect. The lens is also sharp in the center with good contrast and detailed retention, but stopping down the aperture further enhances the overall sharpness across the frame. Yet I did notice that the chromatic aberrations at wider apertures is much higher, especially in high contrast scenes. And just as stopping down improves the sharpness, so does it reduces the purple fringing. Focus breathing is also one issue I noticed with this particular lens. Each time you change focus, it hangs just a tad more before it nails the focus. Due to that, I sometimes get blurry images because I press the shutter button a bit too early. But I only notice this issue in poorly lit situations, so if you are at the reception of a wedding and the lighting is quite bad, just make sure that the camera gets the focus right before you take the picture. And if the sample shots I have on the screen are not enough, kindly visit my Instagram page. I'll have it linked in the description below. Also, everything mentioned in this video and more to purchase will be in the description below, so be sure to check the links down there. Considering the price points, the Meike 85mm f1.8 lens provides excellent value for money. So if you're on a budget, you should get one of these. The image quality and the performance is quite on par with some of the more expensive lenses. So yeah, for $200, I highly recommend the Meike 85mm f1.8 lens. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and other channels which I have them linked below. And as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theyo from Phyno Concepts, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.